What if I told you that Cleopatra, remembered as one of history's most powerful rulers, did not rely solely on armies, riches, or political alliances to maintain her grip on the throne? Her true weapon was far more subtle, yet devastatingly effective. She mastered the art of irresistible charm, a skill so potent it reshaped empires and still teaches us timeless lessons about influence and success today. Cleopatra was not merely beautiful, as so many simplified stories suggest. In fact, many ancient accounts emphasize that her allure came less from physical appearance and more from her presence, wit, and ability to connect deeply with others. She understood something that most people overlook even now. Lasting influence is not about what you look like. It's about how you make people feel in your presence. I'm Simon, and today I want to take you inside Cleopatra's hidden playbook of persuasion, a system of charm that still applies whether you're leading a team, building a business, or even navigating personal relationships. So let's begin with her first secret. Cleopatra knew that confidence magnifies attraction. When she sailed up the Nile to meet Julius Caesar, she didn't arrive timidly. She had herself smuggled into his presence, rolled inside a carpet, an unforgettable entrance. Risky? Absolutely. But by doing so, she ensured her first impression would be etched into memory. Modern psychology tells us the same thing. Confidence is magnetic. People trust those who signal certainty, and they remember those who break patterns. But here's the unexpected twist. Her confidence was never loud, but arrogance. She practiced what might be called composed confidence, the ability to project certainty without aggression. In conversations, she listened attentively, asked intelligent questions, and spoke in ways that made others feel significant. That's the real key. She didn't try to dominate every interaction. Instead, she built rapport by amplifying the importance of those around her. Think about it. Who do you find more attractive? The person bragging endlessly about themselves, or the one who makes you feel like the most fascinating person in the room? Another layer of Cleopatra's charm was her mastery of storytelling. She used stories, myths, and symbols to frame herself not just as a queen, but as a living goddess. By linking her image with Isis, the Egyptian goddess of magic and fertility, she elevated herself beyond politics and into myth. This wasn't vanity, it was strategy. She understood the power of narrative branding long before the term existed. Even today, entrepreneurs and leaders who craft compelling stories about themselves or their businesses gain loyalty that facts alone can never command. And there's a lesson here for you. Whether you're pitching a business idea, presenting to clients, or even on a date, people respond to stories, not spreadsheets. The right story taps into emotion, and emotion drives action. But Cleopatra's charm went even deeper. She mastered the art of adaptability. With Caesar, she positioned herself as a partner in his grand political vision. With Mark Antony, she embodied passion, adventure, and shared ambition. She read her audience, mirrored their values, and gave them the version of herself that would resonate most. This wasn't deception. It was emotional intelligence at the highest level. Modern research calls it social attunement, the ability to read the room and adjust accordingly. Those who master it build influence far faster than those who push the same approach on everyone. Now here's the real secret. Cleopatra's charm wasn't about seduction alone, it was about control. By shaping how others felt, she shaped their decisions. Influence wasn't wrestled away from them. They gave it willingly, believing it was their choice. That's a principle you can apply in leadership, negotiation, and even daily conversations. If you control emotion, you control outcome. But what did Cleopatra do when charm alone wasn't enough? How did she recover when influence wavered or when rivals threatened her? You won't believe the bold strategy she used to turn vulnerability into strength, and it's a move you can still use today. Cleopatra knew that vulnerability could be transformed into one of the most powerful tools of persuasion. When charm wasn't enough, she leaned into transparency, revealing just enough weakness to create empathy, then flipping it into strength. Ancient records describe moments when she admitted the challenges of ruling Egypt as a woman surrounded by rivals, yet by doing so she disarmed her audience. Instead of seeing her as a threat, they saw her as human, and that created trust. But the twist is this: she never left the impression of fragility. She quickly reframed her vulnerability as resilience, showing that she could endure what others could not. That balance, openness followed by demonstration of strength, is one of the most effective strategies in leadership and relationships today. People connect with you when you reveal your humanity, but they follow you when you show how you rise above it. Think about your own life. Have you ever respected someone more because they admitted a mistake, then showed how they corrected it? Cleopatra built that rhythm into her influence. Another key to her irresistible charm was her attention to detail. Reports describe how she orchestrated every encounter: the scent of the room, the lighting, the music, the timing of her words. Nothing was left to chance. When she sailed to meet Antony, her barge was decorated in gold and purple, sails perfumed, attendants dressed as mythological figures. She staged an experience so overwhelming that Antony was captivated before the first conversation began. She understood that environment influences emotion, and emotion drives decisions. This is a strategy you can apply in subtle ways. In business, the way you present yourself, your tone, your setting, even the visuals in a presentation, can determine whether people say yes or walk away. In relationships, it's the little details, eye contact, tone of voice, atmosphere that create lasting impressions. Cleopatra's genius was in realizing that influence begins before words are spoken. But here's the real secret most people miss. Cleopatra didn't just charm individuals, she charmed crowds. She appeared in public ceremonies not as a distant monarch, but as a relatable, almost magnetic figure who embodied the values of her people. She walked the fine line between goddess and human, ensuring that her people saw her both as divinely chosen and deeply connected to their daily lives. Modern leaders call this scaling authenticity, the ability to make every person in the crowd feel personally acknowledged, even when you cannot speak to them individually. And yet Cleopatra's power of charm raises a question that matters for us today. How do you make influence last? Charisma can open doors, but how do you keep them from closing once the initial impression fades? Cleopatra's answer was consistency. She aligned her words, her actions, and her image so carefully that people never doubted who she was. There were no contradictions for her enemies to exploit. I'm Simon, and the lesson here is timeless. Influence isn't about tricks. It's about presence, alignment, and emotional mastery. Cleopatra showed us that charm isn't a surface skill, it's a system. Confidence without arrogance, storytelling that elevates, adaptability that resonates, vulnerability reframed as strength, and consistency that builds trust. So ask yourself, Which of these elements are you practicing right now, and which are you neglecting? Because the art of irresistible charm isn't ancient history. It's a tool you can use today in business, in relationships, and in every interaction where influence matters. Master it, and like Cleopatra, you won't just attract attention. You'll hold it, shape it, and turn it into lasting power.